Hello, denizens. Here we are, episode 6 of Strange New Worlds. Time flies when you're having fun. I am your former network executive reaction. Every show so far seemed to be getting better and better until this one. I have to admit that my initial reaction was quite negative, probably influenced by some irksome elements I'll talk about in this review. But upon subsequent viewing, I've tempered my opinion. It was a good show, but it could have been excellent. Let me start by putting my executive in charge of production hat on and asking the production team the questions I've been asking almost every episode. Why aren't you giving more screen time to Rebecca Romijn? And what is with your fascination with Uhura? Up until episode 5, even Spock had gotten short shrift, and in 6, he's back again doing sweet dick all. That's my question, as the exec in charge, wanting the show to be as big a hit as it can possibly be. Oh, you're telling me that it's important to attract younger subscribers to Paramount Plus. That's why you need to push Uhura and on. Well, that makes perfect sense. Ignore the old fans of the show that actually have cash and can afford to subscribe to our streaming service, and instead direct your focus to people who are living off of cat food. Great idea. Did you talk to anyone at the network? If the kids are watching this show, it's because they are using mom and dad's account. Let me give you some advice. Don't make shows for people with no money. Okay, I'm taking my network exec hat off. Now, I'm just going to ramble on about the problems that I found with this show and the good parts. The show starts with Pike riding the turbo lift when Uhura joins him. Look, I absolutely hate the way they are portraying this character, so my ongoing enmity towards Uhura should be taken with a grain of salt. Anyway, this elevator encounter is a brutally bad masterclass in how not to do exposition. I shall explain. Uhura enters the lift, and she's rolling her shoulder, seemingly in pain. Pike asks her if she's all right. Uhura answers, "It's all right, just a little sore after combat training." Pike says, "Oh, you're on rotation with Lieutenant Noonien Singh this week?" Uhura nods. Pike then imitates Singh and says something silly that Singh would say. Uhura laughs. Then Pike tells her to watch out for Lesson 7, which he won't tell her anything about, and leaves the lift doing the "my lips are sealed" shtick. Let's break this down. I was in the Boy Scouts. I know all about the military. First off, when Pike asks Uhura if she's okay, the proper response would have been, "Yes, sir. I'm fine, sir." No one in the military wants to reveal that they are a wuss. And besides, Pike is not her friend. He's her superior officer, the fucking captain. And then Pike's line, "Oh, you're on rotation with Lieutenant Noonien Singh this week." Well, that was just painful. He presides over a vessel with 400 plus people. Why would he know what the extracurricular activity of one person would be? Oh, I forgot. Uhura is the official designated Star Trek goddess on the series. Ditch the line and go right to Pike having a bit of fun. Does the Singh imitation, and they both say, "Lesson number 3? Now they can exchange a laugh. Pike would follow that up with Lieutenant Noonien Singh has a lot to teach. All Uhura has to say is, "Yes, sir." Pike finishes with, "Just wait till lesson 7. He exits smirking. With just those small changes, the scene turns from dragging fingernails across a chalkboard to a nice little moment that does not screw with military decorum, and it advances the plot without needless exposition. The next exchange between Uhura and La'an is just plain embarrassing. New Trek hates subtext. They hate people keeping their feelings to themselves. Drives me nuts. Then we get some space action, and because La'an is doing some kind of bring your kid to work day thing, Uhura gets to play on the helm with the stuff that goes kaboom, and La'an encourages her as Captain Pike wants some phaser action. An unknown vessel is chasing some little shuttle ship and then starts firing on the Enterprise, and neither Pike nor La'an tells Uhura to move off the bloody helm. Uhura ends up inadvertently blowing up the ship. Apologies, Captain. I moved. I tried to graze them. Honest. Well, stuff like that is going to happen when you let your kid play with the shredder that's in the same room as a box of valuable legal contracts. You know, apart from the first show, I haven't seen Uhura on ship's comm. I could be wrong. The aliens on the chased shuttle get beamed on board, and one of them is Alora, someone Pike wanted to bang a long time ago. Una asks Pike, "You know her?" Really? That was the best the writers could come up with? Look, folks, a line has to advance character or plot, preferably both. This did neither, as we can already see that Pike knows Alora. Una could have said instead, "Shall I arrange for some cocktails in your quarters, sir?" They also had Pike stammer like a hormonal teen in front of his first crush. Look, we know that you don't want Pike to be that shaken, not stirred, straight male. But come on, give us a break. The writing by Robin Wasserman and Bill Wolkoff was hit or miss, except for the sickbay scenes, which were excellent, so I'm at a bit of a loss. Robin was involved in the writing of episode 5, which was great. What up? Maybe the showrunner's bloody fingerprints are all over this script. Who knows? Also, I have to say the direction by Andy Armanian hit some bad patches during the extremely lackluster action sequences, which I'm even loath to call action sequences. The convoluted plot didn't help, and the antagonists were a complete mystery. Personally, I think mysteries are a lazy plot device to keep viewers' interests unless a show is actually about a mystery. It would have been far more interesting if Alora had just come out and told them that the attackers were a breakaway colony bent on destroying the home planet. Then, when we find out that they were actually trying to save the first servant, the final sequence would have made more sense and more ironic that Pike contributed to the handing over of the first servant to the very people, including the alien he just had sex with, that wanted to suck the life out of him, which is not untypical for a first date. But then we would have lost all the scenes with the official Star Trek goddess doing her big brain super deluxe figuring out stuff, which was as dumb as shit. The big question this episode did not end up wrestling with fully was, could or should have Pike and the gang interfered with this event? Yes, it was gruesome. Yes, it enslaved a child for life into some weird digital servitude, but it was accepted practice by this race. Just because the breakaway colony and Elder Gamal tried to prevent the ascension, was it Pike's business to interfere? Yes, The ascension sucked the life out of the child, leaving a gruesome, drained corpse. But was it morally wrong? And whose morals are we talking about here? It would have made for a much more compelling show if this was explored more fully in the body of the show rather than being left to the very end. Here quickly are some more of my highlights. Uhura does something wrong on the mystery crashed vessel. La'an tells her to do it the right way. And Uhura lets out a, yeah, sure, whatever, sigh. Then she finally completes the process the way La'an demanded, and we get an eye roll. This is why our kids are assholes, because these characters they are watching are their heroes. I did like it that they used foundation house wrap for the wreckage. Then we got the mandatory stormtroopers keep missing sequence. Then Pike takes the renegade down, but no staged fight where Pike gets his shirt ripped off. Come on. A little shirt off action. Was that so hard? Finally, we get some real action. Kid returns for the Ascension thing. We get Pike's revelation at the end. I could have told him. Some cool effects hooking up the first servant. Pike tries to insert his judgmental morality here. The first servant offered himself voluntarily. Therefore, Pike was essentially wrong to interfere. It wasn't his culture. As I said earlier, this should have been the moral dilemma at the core of this episode. Of course, more nookie with Allura was out. It was a good premise as there were no real bad guys, just people with different points of view, and some willing to die for it. It was actually well summarized at the end by Allura. But Pike still couldn't deal with another people's truth. There was no resolution to the colony that separated. I would have liked to have seen more of them, some leadership from them. The overall idea was solid. Take out all the Uhura parts, properly explore the dilemma, stop with the ridiculous exposition, and I think this could have been a stellar show, maybe the best. The South Asian vibe in the costumes, the Bagra-inspired music, and explosions of colored powder were a surprise bit of art direction. Glad to see that Bollywood has made it to the outskirts of the galaxy. Till next time, denizens, be seeing you.